Glorious day to you, my friends. Kia kanahataria shahaya katar haskanani ariata. Welcome to Shine, Stargate Heart, Illuminate Your Natural Essence, where we are exploring our heart center, the wisdom, the subtleties, the love, the truth, and maybe even our superpowers. And we're exploring our inner being using the chant Om Mani Padme Hum. We're chanting it 108 times using the Mala of Joy, and we're chanting it for 108 days. And we are on day number 67. Where today we're subtly radiating the energy of Vishuddha from our inner being outward. We're radiating the truth from our heart. That's the title. They gave me that a while ago. They've been talking all day. So the Mala of Joy, we break up the 108 seeds into 9 groups of 12, where each of the 9 groups represents one of our chakras and our Merkaba. At the bottom of our Merkaba, Vasundhara, the Earth Star Chakra, Muladhara, the Root Chakra, Svadhisthana, the Sacral Chakra, Manipura, the Solar Plexus Chakra, Anahata, the Heart Center, Vishuddha, the Throat Chakra, and we're on Vishuddha today for the next several days. Anya or Agnya, the third eye chakra, Sahasrara, the crown chakra, and at the top of the Merkaba, Vyapini, the goddess who is everywhere, Sikitiyoryocho. And then for each chakra, we break up the 12 seeds into 4 groups of 3, modeled after box breath, Sama Vriti Pranayama, Niyaryaruskohuturyacha, where we breathe in for a count of 3, hold with a full set, with our lungs full for a count of 3, breathe out for a count of 3, and this is what we're on. We're on day 1 of breathing out. We're breathing out this energy. We have breathed it in, this Vishuddha, this sound, this Akash, this purity, this truth. We've played with it, we've baked it, we've explored it, we've energized it, we've ignited it, and now we're radiating it out of our being, from our inner being. And that's what today is about. And the last part about box breath is when our lungs are empty, we hold our breath for a count of 3, or 3 seeds, or 3 days, where we embody the energy, 333. So I tried to shoot this video a little bit earlier, and I was going to go to the same spot as yesterday, over there, here at Ellison Park. But I pulled to my parking spot, and this willow tree says, I'm the star of the show. And I'm going, okay. I don't know a lot about the willow tree, but then I got a text, let's go to dinner. Went to dinner, now I'm back, did my research, and they've been talking. They just gave me seeds for the research. One, the willow tree is a sacred tree in Wicca and witchcraft. Broomsticks, where the witches fly on, were made out of willow. The willow tree is the tree of the goddess, the sacred feminine. So now we ask, interestingly, we just yesterday talked about the genderness of each of the chakras, and how even though Vishuddha is a male chakra, requires intention and attention. It also requires allowing of the truth to come forth, allowing of the purity. And the purity just is, we're removing the debris from our chakras so that our perception can see the light from our inner being. Because our bright light inside never dims. And others may see our bright light because they can see through the debris, this debris that we are feeling and experiencing. Love, protection, Iso utur oshana atakari hasa akai achi tiariata anonorutuko. To me, every time I see this tree, I just say hulupu, the hulupu tree, niariachiko hutur haskatetiria. The hulupu tree is a famous tree in Sumerian and Akkadian mythology. Niare hushot utukuriaskohaya asakaheta. And during the past 5 days, we've been bringing up the hulupu tree a lot. But in particular today, what came up most was the Sumerian goddess Inanna. To me, I more associate her with Acadia than Sumeria, but and they try to toss her in the same group as Ishtar and Ostara, Astare, Isis. They're all different beings. To me, I see them as different individuals. And I know Inanna well. She is the goddess of love and war, fertility, and law. We'll throw wisdom in there too. And maybe the other goddesses associated with the East, the goddess of the dawn, is more aligned with the wisdom part of it. So Inanna and the hulupu tree, the willow, when she was a young goddess and she wasn't fully in her power, she was underneath a hulupu tree, and she decided that she was going to harvest this hulupu tree, and she was going to create her throne out of it. Now, you see the imagery here is that the maturity, she's becoming more mature. She wants to be mature, just like all of us in our exploration of our heart centers, let's say it that way. And if we're looking at it in the higher thought forms or the lower thought forms, we're seeing that I've got this human life, I've got to grow up, I've got to become the queen that is inside, I've got to become the king that's inside, I've got to ascend, I've got to go through my rite of passage. And that's the same thing we're doing here in this Shine series. The rite of passage, Cardinal, this rite of passage is us releasing that which no longer serves by gently aligning, gently tuning our vibration to that of our inner being. There's not a lot of work involved. We're just going to be consistent about doing it, which is why we're going to do it for 108 days. We're on day 67. So this young goddess Inanna wants to make her throne and be the righteous ruler of her reality. She wasn't so familiar with uh, she was familiar with her powers, but not of her being the righteous about her powers. Gilgamesh, and in this story, that's her brother, cuts down the tree after doing other things, and eventually her bed gets carved out of it, and her throne gets carved out of it. Because as the righteous ruler, our bed, our sacredness of our divine coupling, is just as important. Our sacred bonding with our partner is just as important as us being the righteous ruler of our reality. And it's just as important as being the benevolent ruler for all of our people, or in our sense, it's all of the other yous that are us. And there's another story about Inanna that she snuck up to heaven and snuck away with these me's. I don't know the proper pronunciation, but each of the mays, I'll call them mays. Water is life, my friends. Their divine powers, their divine laws, their higher thought forms. That's what we're starting off with in Vishuddha, in this Vijnana Maya Kosha, is that we're adopting in all these higher thought forms. And the first one that they list is truth. And although truth is a perception, today this theme will roll into we're asking our inner being to reveal its truth to us. And it's not like it's a big secret. So in our truth, excuse me, Ori Hashaya, water is life. Being our true authentic self is the most natural thing for us to do. No one else can tell you who you are. If you believe that, you're going to lose a lot of money fast, because then you're going to spend a lot of money on mediums and channelers and things like that to tell you who you are. When your inner being is right there talking to you every day. Many of these other mays that were attributed to Inanna bringing from heaven, laws, structure, this structure of law that comes to societies so it can be more organized. In one sense, the United States, America, was built on the ideas that we're not going to listen to the whims of people. We will get in our higher mind and we will write down laws by which we will abide. These higher truths down on paper. Over 200 years later, we got some extremes, and they want to use the law against the law. Anyway, these ideals of separation of church and state, and we don't want to have a monarch because we don't want to be at the whim of, we want to be at the agreement of the law and not at the whim of a monarch or at the whim of the head of the church and their interpretation of what God says. It was just 1441. God lives inside of each and every one of us. It is God is documented in many, 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 many sacred texts. That is my belief. Architecture, other of the maze that Anana brought down to earth. Architecture, just anything to do with structure and science and the, anything to do with the higher thought forms. This divine love, the devotion, and this concept of law, agreement by law, that we're going to do things for the higher good and we're going to cooperate as a society, because when we're all on the same page, at least things are going more smoothly. Instead of everybody having their own ideas and like, let's take farming for a second. If everybody plants the same crop at the same time, we're not going to have food throughout the year, and everybody's going to have succotash. But if we cooperate and we communicate and we split up all the food products, and somebody's going to grow strawberries and somebody's going to grow pomegranates and somebody's going to grow corn and somebody's going to grow wheat, we have a whole bunch of food. And the market isn't flooded by an abundance of wheat or pomegranates or olives or dates. Through communication and cooperation and documentation, we work better as a collective. But the halupu tree, the sacred goddess. And I guess the theme that we're going to tap into, this goddess, this divine feminine energy, is nurturing. How do we nurture our inner being in our lives? How do we nurture the truth of our inner being in our lives? How do we mother the love that's in our heart centers and let it shine through naturally? And the nurturing is simply, we're repeating this chant. We're devoted to our inner being by continuing this on a daily basis or every other day if that's all you can handle. It's not a competition. This is about you and your inner being. And we allow our inner being, we allow all these divine feminine terms, this allow, this nurture, this mother, this support, this flow of energy, not being so rigid in what we consider is what's supposed to happen. Even though we're commanding the universe, we're speaking what we think is our truth. But if we allow our inner being to speak, the beauty, the bliss, the joy, the truth, the love that is inside can come forth. We do this by surrendering. It's a divine feminine aspect of ourselves. And even though Inanna's a goddess, and that over her lifetime, her documented history and mythology, that she is evolving and evolving from her young goddess, she is maturing. She went up to heaven to get the maze, and she descended into the underworld. This divine flow does exactly that. It goes up to heaven, the highest source of consciousness, and it gets more holy fire. All of this reality is made of the holy fire. And we can view this holy fire as anything we wish. But we can see it as the truth. We can ask it to reveal the truth. The truth of heaven. But later on in life, she descended to the underworld, to the density. And that's where the divine flow goes, down to the heart of Gaia, the ultimate of densities. And if you can imagine going underground in the cave, all the way down to the core of Gaia, there's not much light down there. We don't have to say that the underworld is this Christian idea of hell, where there's demons and such, where we're dealing with the shadow side of ourselves and the shadow side of consciousness. But we can. We all have a shadow side. And a shadow only gets cast because there's light around. Because there's density, and there's light on one side of the density, and it splits the light. It goes on both sides. And where the light is not shining, where it is obscured by the density, the tree, the building, whatever it is that are creating shadows, it's density that creates shadows. And we are trained as a kid to be afraid of the shadows, to be afraid of the dark. But Anana descended into the underworld and revealed some truths when she returned. Just like the divine flow reveals truth on the way back up. We call it grounding in Aquarian fire. And we don't have to be afraid of the shadow side. The shadow is simply yet another karmic imprint that is in our energetic field. Whether it was super awesome and we have decided we want to remember it forever, or it was super painful and somehow we can't release it. We'll clear it. We'll purify it. But we kick off the divine flow. This hulupu tree, just like the banyan tree, under which Siddhartha became enlightened. He sat there and did his meditation, and he discovered, observed, remembered. His judgment was not cloudy anymore. He understood, there we go. He understood the nature of it all at that point. So many things can happen when we just sit and be, whether it's underneath hulupu, or whether it's underneath banyan, whether it's under any tree that you consider sacred. And the imagery of the tree has long been in mythology. The tree of life. There's so many world trees out there in mythology. The tree of life. That blossoms out of the density of the earth to reach its branches out and spread out its leaves and receive the light and draw up the nourishment from the earth. So as we nourish our inner goddess, allow our inner goddess to bloom and to mature, to sit in and upon one's throne. Even the divine masculine needs the divine feminine. We just can't command the universe. The universe has to comply to it. The universe is only half complete without the divine feminine. without the goddess. So whether you are male or female, do you want to guide your inner child, your inner maiden, your inner young goddess? Would you like to guide your inner young goddess to be the mature goddess that she wishes to be, so that she can then become the true goddess? Or do you want to shove your mind's idea of this goddess, this ability of your inner being to shine, of each of your chakras to allow the flow, to allow the debris to come into them and collect, and then to release it, to experience this life fully, both on your throne and in your bed. We're not really going to talk about sexuality, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. No matter who you like. No matter how many you like, you be you. You nurture your inner being. And in this series, we're allowing us to align with our inner being. Not trying, we're just chanting. We're just breathing. So and by chanting and by breathing, all those thoughts that confuse us of who we are go away, because our chant and our breath are consuming our awareness. So everybody else's thoughts just go away. Our hulupu tree is growing and expanding inside of us, but it does so after we stop. Because while we are being, we're not aware of anything else. And then when we stop, if we journal, we can see our progress on our mind, on how we're thinking. It's not that we're going to compare. We have a friend, this basset hound, or this other hound just came into the park and howled. I don't remember hearing it outside, but as soon as I waved, he stopped. Little acknowledgement. So let us meditate. Maybe when this series is done, we can develop our own meditation practice, either with or without chanting, with or without music, and maybe, if you're so advanced, with or without breathing. I will provide a link, maybe several. I got one about Inanna. And the hulupu tree, which is the tree of life. So I invite you to sit or lie down to relax. Close your eyes if you feel. As we slowly focus our awareness on our breath, as we slowly lengthen our breath, as we listen to our breath, as we feel our breath, as we feel the temperature and the temperature change, and we feel the expansion and contraction. Now let us focus our awareness on our heart center. For in our heart center is the home of our holy fire. And our holy fire is the source of our bright light. And every breath that we take with intention clears the debris so our true inner light shines. So and it appears more brightly from the outside, and from our perception. As we invite and allow the holy fire to flow in, through, and around us all, in every way, and everywhere, and everyone. And we ask the holy fire to only allow in that which is for our highest good and the highest good of all. And I invite you to start the divine flow if you have not done so already. Let us start by taking the energy from our heart centers, moving it up through the chakras, and reaching up into the highest source of consciousness, getting more pure holy fire. Well, it's always pure. And bringing it down through the chakras, purifying each of the chakras, and then grounding this energy effectively. Let us move this energy up through the central channel, through Vishuddha, through Anya, through Sahasrara, through Vyapini, moving up through the realms, and entering into the highest source of consciousness, where there is no ego, where there is no judgment, where there is only unconditional love. Where it always respects free will, and where the power is unlimited. Let us bring back more pure holy fire down through the realms, through Vyapini, purifying it, through Sahasrara, purifying it, through Anya, purifying it, through Vishuddha, purifying it, and back into Anahata, our heart center. Thoroughly combining this energy and purifying it. And let us move this combined energy down through our chakras, purifying the lower chakras, moving it down through Manipura, purifying it through Svadhisthana, purifying it through Muladhara, purifying it through Vasundhara, purifying it, growing roots down into Mother Earth, down, 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 deep into Gaia, wrapping these roots around the heart of Ki, giving her a great big hug and bringing back her grounded love. No matter what name you call her, up through the root system, through Vasundhara, Muladhara, Svadhisthana, Manipura, and back into Anahata, our heart center. Combining this energy thoroughly. And now let's turn over to our inner being to continue this divine flow, without any conscious thought. Niharyata karishkohuto urhashaya atkanare arhashia asana akatitiria hatkur hushana ati haryata hata. And now with intention on the exhale, let us consciously push out this energy from our heart center, from all of the chakras, out of our physical bodies, nihakatakari heshkatati out of our energetic field, nihakoturu urshanahakaya shahayatata, and into every aspect of our awareness, nihakashaya atati in every way, and everywhere, and everywhen, hikoturu urshanahatakaya tahayata. And let us create in our mind's eye a chest of our creation. And let us put in this chest all of our fears, all of our doubts, all of our anger, all of our worries, our guilt, our shame, our grief, everything on our to-do list, our shopping list, everything that we're going to do the rest of the day, and any time in the future, and anything that has happened already today or any time in the past. And let us also ask our inner being to put in what it feels no longer serves, and what it feels may take away from or distract from our time with the chant, from our time with our breath, from our time with our inner being. And let us close the lid on this chest, and let us set it aside. It shall be there for you at the end of meditation, if you so desire. We will start out with one Aum. We will chant Om Mani Padme Hum 108 times, using the Mala of Joy on the 8 count. The default audio track will keep count. Let us know when we move up through the chakras and when we are on the last one. And at the end, we will close out with one Aum. And a breath in for Aum. Aum. Starting off with Vasundhara, and a breath in to chant. Om Mani Padme Hum Chayakatare Arishkonoro Uturu Ujana Mani Padme Hum Aryarata Ashihya Akanahata Karyata Uturu Mani Padme Hum Kuryato Urho Arshanahakaya Ati Tiaryata Nahatata Om Mani Padme Hum Turu Hushana Aka Turhasana Hakea Tatarihi Om Mani Padme Hum Kaya Aruhutu Uruhusana Chahia Sa Takania Om Mani Padme Hum Arshohoko Uta Arshihi Isanahatakayacha Haturo Om Mani Padme Hum Atakuroto Ushaye Haturo Una Hatakahe Om Mani Padme Hum Aturo Utana Hatakahe Shai Hatata Arhasa Om Mani Padme Hum Utunaha Aturo Ushanahaka Easha Hisana hatakaheasa.
Mani Padme Hum.
Achukuhurota atanana. Atoro ushana hakea.
Mani Padme Hum.
Kotor hata arahana asahea kaata. Atoro ushana hatha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Muladhara.
Mani Padme
Shaya
Hum.
hakanahari. Konoto orahata. Itohoro
Mani Padme Hum.
Koroto ohota hea. Shahe so
Mani Padme Hum.
Ko or ana. Achahata asa. Itoro oka.
Mani Padme Hum.
Hokayacha. Ariheko aria. Haturo ushana hakaesha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Atkoreata. Ashuhulutu uriata. Ashahea
Mani Padme Hum.
Konoto uruhutu utahayata. Kashahea kasaya.
Mani Padme Hum.
Aturu ushana hatagircha. Konoto urha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Isha tanahataha. Itoro hoka aha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Katihariata artukuruhuto. Konohoturhiata ana.
Mani Padme Hum.
Oko orahana akehe. Kalianahata karieturuhu.
Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Svadhisthana.
Mani Padme Hum.
Huturu unahata tiharahata. Achiharahata. Aturu anahakea.
Mani Padme
Aturu
Hum.
ushanahatakaha. Atihariataha. Achohorotaha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Hotur anaha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Atuariata. Konoto uruhutata hayata.
Mani Padme Hum.
Kashahanata arihiko voto. Haturo u tanahakaya.
Mani Padme Hum.
Arihushohoto. Haturo u kanahatakiara. Hatoria hashaya.
Mani Padme Hum.
Haturo ushana hatakaheyata. Haturo hokona. Arhoshaya.
Mani Padme Hum.
Haturo u kanahatai. Arhashaya saha. Atakurota atari.
Mani Padme Hum.
Atakuruhuto reshi. Katahatari hesa. Achukuhurota.
Mani Padme Hum.
Hoturu ushana hatakahi.
Mani Padme Hum.
Aturu hotana hatakahe. Ichikariata.
Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Manipura.
Mani Padme Hum.
Anahatakaha. Atutu uchushayaha.
Mani Padme Hum.
Tukahe akana. Aturu hokana ashihiata. Hakaya shaheyaso.
Mani Padme Hum.
Achukuru husana akeyata. Titi ariarata.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Utoro unahakayecha. Arokohaya. Archikohoroto utoro.
Om Mani Padme
Kanata
Hum.
atahariheta. Hatukurota. Arakashahea kaana.
Om Mani Padme
Kashahea
Hum.
kaasana. Atukurota ataharihi. Huturo o kanahata.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Hatoto o chana hatakaro. Utukayarahara.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Huturo o nahatakihia. Shahya kaasa.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atahiria. Hatura hanahatehi. Kashakana hataka.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Arkohorshaho. Kiriatahana. Atahoto orohaka.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Achikohorata atitika hiata. Hatoro okana hasa ekaha.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Anahata.
Om Mani Padme
Nata
Hum.
harihi. Kashihi koroto ursana. Aturo o kanahata.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Huna ayaheata. Anhasera hasera. Kotohorota
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Aturo uhonata ayareha. Akanata arihisaka aturo.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Ataharieta gurahana. Achakari.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atukona hatarawaha. Atukashehia sa ayohoto.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Nahasa. Aturo hushana hatakahe. Arakihi
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atakuhruna harira. Ashihi sa ayako noroho.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Achihisa aya atatateria. Konohoto korahaya. Achakari.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atur utana hatakehia. Achikohrata. Arihisono.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Arihikotoroha. Ashahanata kahiata. Haturo.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atakiriata. Aturo ho unohoka yahada.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Vishuddha.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Uturu uhana hayata. Kuchuhurata. Ashkuhurana hasaya.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Uturu urhana hasaya. Kaishia hartarahi. Arawahasha
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Utugurehe atara arkana hayara. Ushohoyata.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Itoro utanahatake. Huturu utanahatatiri.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Uchohorota atari hisaya. Atora ana hakaersha.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atokorona hasaya. Kotoro ushana hateki.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Arkuhushoyo okotoro. Kutuhura anna hakaea.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Itora anna hakaea. Achihira yatohoto.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atokoro o shanahatakeato. Atoko
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Akohorona atuturoho. Achihira nahatetirihata.
Om Mani Padme
Ashihia
Hum.
asanahati tiara. Aturo o nahaturo hoshaya.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Anya.
Om Mani Padme
Kushuhuturu
Hum.
hoshana. Ashiata anahasa. Aturo o tanahateti.
Om
Ashahia
Mani Padme Hum.
Kushuhunaharahi. Shoshoro totoro hosana. Atoro o kanahatetiria.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Rahiskonoro hosa. Uchoto utanahatiara.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Kuto orohonata hisoso ukanahasiara.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atoro okana atetiara. Atkohrahi.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Itihariataha. Akonoro
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atukurota anaharaha. Ichoro hota arihasa.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Honoraha. Atoro okana hasa erta. Itoro
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Hariata. Achakahata nahri. Achkohor
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Uturu utanahaturaha. Atakareta arasha.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Uturu hushanahatakehe. Achihariata atarana.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Sahasrara.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Kashahiko Orohosana. Atakurot Yeriha. Katoro.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atakurot Otorasha. Haturo Hutana Atakarahita.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Kashihiaka Asana Hatita. Haturo Utana Hatarira.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Haturo Una Hatakahia. Ashikarihisaha.
Om Mani Padme
Haturo
Hum.
Ukanahatarihi. Ishkohoratarihi.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Haturo Okanahatati. Arahokotora Hayata.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Ashahiaka Asana Haturo. Uturu Utanata Arhasai.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Haturo Unanahatiria. Atakariataha.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Kotoro sana
Om
atita.
Mani Padme Hum.
Atihiriata atoro hotora. Ashahaya ka
Om
atara anahasakaha.
Mani Padme
Shono
Hum.
hotoro. Achikahare atara hasanahota. Aturo
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Moving up to Vyapini.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Achihiriata hata. Arahohoshono otoro
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Atokoroto orhoshaya. Hatoro o kanahata arhi.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Arakashahanati Ariata Haturo Ukana Haturaha
Om Mani Padme
Hukunoto
Hum.
Urhuta Hatur Hurha Isana Aya
Om
Ashahamutu
Mani
Ushayeasa
Padme
Hunata
Hum.
Ariataha Hatukur Husana Atakaha Arshahanati
Om
Arihisonorohota
Mani
Haturo
Padme
Ukurota
Hum.
Arakona Hatakiria Arakashaye
Om
Hatukura
Mani
Chantinaha
Padme
Hatur
Hum.
Utana Hatakahe Atukur Hoshana Asi Yeti Ariata
Om Mani
Arawahashia
Padme
Ukurahaka
Hum.
Ayata Hatur Hasana Hatakarya
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Hutur Uhuna Ataharihe Koshokonorohosa
Om
Atatiriatahata
Mani
Haturu
Padme Hum.
Ushanahatakahe Achukarahataha Koshohonata Arihisa
Om Mani
Achuhoro Utanata
Padme
Ariata.
Hum.
Last one. Hotoru Ushana
Om Mani
Atikierata
Padme
Anahata.
Hum.
And a breath in for Aum. Aum. Stay here for as long as you like. And spend as much time in the energy as you prefer. Maybe even pause the video. Saea Kuturu Atana Atakari Hasaha. And when you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to the here and now. Maybe invite in some gentle movements. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes and welcome in the new now. Hutur Ashahanata Karieta. Hatur Asanata Katieta. Sanata Karihetso Utur Utukurieta Katiareta. Congratulations, my friends. We have completed day number 67 of Shine, the Ariachako Otogurieta Karieta. And again, I encourage you to journal. Write it down. Write down about your experience, what came up, any wisdom that came for you, or just thoughts that came up. Doesn't always have to be this profound moment. Spending time with our inner being is profound. Not paying attention to what everybody else is saying is profound. As we reveal our truth, as we embody our truth, as we radiate our truth from our heart center, or the truth of our heart center, as we nurture our inner goddess, as we guide our inner goddess along the inner goddess of our mind, into the true goddess of our inner being, allowing our inner goddess, our inner being, to be the righteous ruler of our reality. As we gently align them both in our heart centers. Just think of our inner guide, our inner goddess, our young goddess, as our daughter, and we want to raise her correctly to go out and meet the world and create in the world and be the righteous ruler of the world. 1 hour and one. No utakarieta. How would you nurture her? How do we nurture our fragile ego? How do we nurture our inner child? To not be the wounded child, to be that curious child who wants to explore everything and enjoys everything. There's not much to say. Except that I encourage you to journal. I hope that you are gaining from this. And all of you who are just watching and not commenting, it's okay. Because this is for you. You don't have to reveal yourself. As though I see many of you. And I smile. Because you are investing in yourself. Because your inner being is beautiful, your inner being is shiny. And the more you allow your inner being to live through you, live with you, live as you, the more fulfilled your life will be, the more joyous you will be. And I will rejoice by watching you sing and dance. As you skip down the street of your life, I bow down and honor you. And I thank you, my friends, for sharing in my highest bliss. Shine on and make it a great day. Because why would you leave it up to anyone else?